Hello, everybody, again. Less than 24 hours later from the fun Anderson news. Hope everybody still had a great week last week and a good weekend, good football weekend, big NFC championship game coming up here. We were just talking about Charbonnet getting injured and how I brought up that, oh, that's okay. George Halani can come in here as the second running back. Actually, he's on IR.
Oh,
So
never
I didn't
mind.
realize that. You know who else they have, though, that could play?
Who?
Cam Akers.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So
That
Cam
would
Akers
that'd be great.
he's gonna probably make an appearance. That'll be
Oh yeah.
interesting. So anyway, I'll get a prediction from you at the end of the
Sure.
stream here. It's early in the week, but that's probably
I'll
all
be
the
in
news.
Seattle by the end of the week too. In case anybody.
Yeah, because you're leaving when? When do you leave?
Wednesday night, 6:30
Right.
flight out of New Jersey, and that'll get me to Vancouver just after 9:00.
Sweet.
Oh,
That's awesome.
be good.
Little Vancouver Seattle trip for his Devils. We'll get into the game tonight as well too, because Devils are going to be in Calgary. Devin Cooley will be in net tonight for the Calgary Flames.
So he'll definitely get a shutout tonight. I'm just gonna call it right now. That's what I think's happening.
Well, it's the one time where we can actually get insight from two analysts.
Sure. Really quick,
I
just saw this. I just saw this Instagram post. That was kind of interesting. It was a list of the top 10 most points from the 2018 NHL draft, which is kind of crazy. The Flames have two players back to back, 7th and 8th.
Really?
Joel Farabee with 226 and Yegor Sharangovich with 215.
Interesting. Yeah. That's one name we haven't talked about really is Farabee, right? And I mean, he's coming up on, I think he's got one more year on an expiring deal. I think he had 2 years when they acquired him. I could be wrong. But anyway, really quickly, we'll get into the trade grades from last night. We did talk about it on our little bonus episode that we had for half an hour yesterday. We'll get into trade grades and a little bit more reaction here from the Andersson trade that happened last night. We'll get into, I have a little short minute video from what Craig Conroy mentioned. He did end up speaking to the media last night about the trade. Get into preparing everybody for tonight's game, taking on the Devils. But first, dropped about 15 minutes ago from around the NHL. The Canucks did just make a deal here with the San Jose Sharks, dealing Kiefer Sherwood off to San Jose for Cole Clayton, prospect defenseman, a second-round pick in 2026, and a second-round pick in 2027. Neil, thoughts?
Oh, I was waiting.
Neil,
I was waiting for the response. Yeah, no, I think for both teams, I kind of agree with you when we talked about a little bit before we jumped on that it is kind of good business for both. I think for Vancouver's perspective, you get a couple of second-round picks, which are obviously important. I know that the Canucks were looking to try to get a first-round pick for Sherwood, but I think after probably speaking to a lot of teams, I think there was a fair consensus that with him being on an expiring deal, and I'd be curious to see what his interest is in signing an extension with any team, and obviously right now it would be San Jose. I think it just kind of came down to they went with a little bit lesser of a deal than maybe they would have liked. But I think overall, you're getting a prospect, you're getting 2 second-round picks. I don't think you could go too wrong. And also, Sherwood's having a career year in a contract year. The question is, can he keep it up beyond this season? That will remain to be seen. But I think for San Jose, who's in a position now where maybe they've kind of gotten a little bit closer to the end of their rebuild than we originally thought going into this year with where they are in the standings, and they're very much in it right now. They want to continue to not only add for the present, but they want to add to the future as well. I wouldn't be surprised if the Sharks and Sherwood come to some sort of a extension. But overall, the Canucks just continue to make that signal after the Quinn Hughes trade that they are obviously in a rebuild. And I think that, I think it's good business. And I think that, the market's getting smaller now, Kyle. With the last 2 days, the market is slowly but surely getting smaller, and more teams are selling rather than buying. So this is going to be really interesting. And I think now it's fair to say that I think trade season has officially opened.
Oh, God, yeah. It started last night and goes into today. Now we were hearing about Sherwood, and it's going to keep going until, I believe, end of next week before the part 1 of the trade deadline ends, and then part 2 ending, obviously, a week after the Olympics are done. So,
right.
And when the trade window opens back up, and once it opens up, all hell's going to break loose, right?
Sure.
So this is a very intriguing deadline, just specifically because the Olympics and you have this Olympic freeze coming up. But just really quickly on the trade, I really like this from Vancouver. I really do. I thought it was a big win because you brought Sherwood in initially. This was before they had their division-winning run. Obviously, went to Game 7 there with Edmonton, and he was more of a guy that was kind of a complementary piece, playing that bottom six, third line type role, and he really elevated his game over the last couple of years. So to bring him in, and now you're kind of at this point here, looking to rebuild. I thought just getting 2 second-round picks out of him is massive. And, I'm not entirely certain here on Cole Clayton here being the defensive prospect, but I really like it from Vancouver's perspective on getting it 2 second-round picks. This is not to say that I don't like it from San Jose's perspective either. I believe, like you mentioned, it's an expiring deal, correct? At 2.5?
Yeah, that is correct. Yep.
So expiring deal, maybe he's open to re-signing. Maybe he gets an extension. Maybe they try to get him here in free agency. San Jose, frankly, has gone through the rigorous rebuild a little bit here, getting some high prospects. So, you lose out on 2 second-round picks. I don't think it's the end of the world, really, for San Jose. I mean, you're hoping to be past that point. You want to start, contending. And, I mean, very likely here they're in a playoff position here. So it wouldn't surprise me if they find a way in now with this addition. I think it'll be nice to get the playoff experience for them with the addition of Sherwood, and you're going to slowly kind of find out here what they're made of. Because either way, I think if they get in and they end up getting one of those wild card spots here, or even if they get the third place seed here, like you're going to have to go against Edmonton, Vegas, or probably Colorado, right? And take your pick. It's going to be ugly. I think it's more than likely going to be ugly there. But ultimately, it should be a good trade overall here for the Sharks. So. It's back. He's good.
Horizon sucks. People don't use it.
That's okay. Yeah. So overall, I like it from both sides. I think both win that one. I really do. I don't think you can really knock it much. I really like it from that standpoint.
I wonder if Canucks fans are bugged that it's like an in-division trade. Maybe not. Maybe it doesn't really affect them.
If it was a more caliber player, then
if it was like Pettersson going to San Jose, I'd be like,
well, it's kind of like Andersson going to Vegas.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's fitting. Yeah. I think
so. Speaking of which, we've let it relish here over the last 14 hours or so. Trade grades have been kind of brought up here. I'm bringing up one here from the Score that kind of gives a average consensus here as to what the grades really were for both sides. So we'll start with Vegas. Again, for those of you who missed it last night or just need a refresher here, it was Andersson to Vegas. Calgary in return gets Zach Whitecloud. Abram Weebs, he was a defenseman in the 7th round, I believe, of last year, the year prior was drafted. I can't remember. 2027 first-round pick. It is top 10 protected next year, so likely not going to happen, but we'll see how it goes. And it also becomes a first-rounder. That second-round pick in 2028 becomes a first-rounder if the Golden Knights end up winning the Cup this year. So the 2028 one second rounder could turn into a first rounder. So again, it's good for Vegas here. I'm not going to really go through the entire article here, but just to kind of summarize, it's great that they kind of find that replacement there for Pietrangelo. I think that's what they were aiming to do anyway once they found out that his career is likely over at this point and they have a big gaping hole on the right side. Anderson's going to fit that bill. He's going to provide a little bit more offensive upfront here for the Golden Knights. My only worry is that, okay, you lose Zach Whitecloud in the process. So, an all-around really good 4-5 defenseman, you're going to lose that. So gaining Anderson is great because he's going to put up that offensive defenseman type points that he's been generating this year. So I wonder how defensively the Golden Knights are going to be looking here going forward. As we know, and as we've watched him, good puck mover. He's been a great shot blocker, as it's mentioned here in the article. And overall, he's going to fit perfectly alongside Noah Hanifin because of the relationship that they used to have here in Calgary. So for the Vegas Golden Knights, it's a big win here. You're only retaining, I think it's like ends up being like $2.25 million in the $4.55 million cap hit. So they're retaining 50% of that. The Flames are, and that's how much the Golden Knights are going to be getting back here. I believe it's probably 2.25 or something like that.
Correct. Yep.
What they will be acquiring. So, it's going to be really good for Anderson. It's going to be easy to slot in here. I just think the slight nod, I would say, is just losing Whitecloud. I hope that for Vegas, you're going to be able to find a bit of an upgrade to replace that in order to find that defensive meshing behind Shea Theodore and Braden McNabb. They mentioned here with Jeremy Lawson and Keaton Korczak. It is a third pairing. I think you want to find something to be a little bit more better than that. So who knows? They might not be done yet. overall, though, it's still a really good trade. Thoughts from Vegas' side of this?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Vegas continues to do what we've seen them do since they've come into the league, right? They go after the big, sexy players, and ultimately their goal is to try to win the cup. And I think this is one of those situations, though, Kyle. It's kind of funny where like they did need this was a position of need. This was not a position of like, oh, let's just do it for the sake of doing it. It was like, no, they do have a hole on the right side, and they are able to improve it by getting Anderson. But you did bring up a good point that while their top four is very impressive, probably one of the better top fours on the back end in the league, the reality is that their third pairing is going to be a question. And when you get into the playoffs where scoring is a lot harder, are those guys going to be relied upon enough to ultimately do what they need to do defensively in those games? But I think overall for Vegas, I've seen so many people throw it down already. I think they've traded their first round pick in each of the last 10 years, I think we're
So
at.
it could work out if Vegas goes on a run here. Calgary will own this year's, next year's, and the year after's Vegas's first round picks.
Wow.
Crazy.
I don't know if I've seen a team have that much control to some extent over the future of another franchise. I guess for Craig Conroy, I guess he really just enjoys working with Vegas in terms of getting those first round picks. But I think overall for Vegas, it's just, I would call it business as usual. Good move for them. Continues to strengthen their team. Um, I hate to say it, but they're probably not done. I don't think that
Oh
this is
God, no, they're not.
completely.
I completely agree.
I
Yeah,
think
they're
that
definitely not
I
done.
think they'll call about Artemi Panarin, and they'll try. I think they'll try. They may not get it, but knowing them, they'll find a way. They'll
Yeah, that
find
wouldn't
some
surprise me.
stupid way, and he'll be like what on the third line for
Yeah,
them at
something
this
like
point.
that.
So yeah,
All right. Let's take a look at it from our boys' perspective here.
sure.
So essentially, and I'm going to play the minute and a half clip for you afterwards from what Craig Conroy was talking about last night. They didn't find out until probably yesterday morning or the morning prior that Anderson told the club that he wasn't going to be willing to sign an extension anywhere as part of any trade.
Right.
Okay, great that they told him, but it definitely held his hands back a little bit, knowing that, okay, like, maybe we should have done this last year, ideally, right?
Right.
And with that being said, it was just kind of like, all right, well, what are we really going to get here? I think that once we kind of heard that, there was a lot of worry now being like, crap, like, what are we going to be able to even fetch now for this guy who, yes, he's been having a great year, but because he's not willing to sign an extension with anybody, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, he says that, who knows? 2 weeks later, he'd be signing an extension with Vegas,
Sure. Yeah.
right?
I
Like,
mean,
that's the stupid thing. So,
yeah.
I mean, unless it's in the agreement here that he's not talking to anybody until July 1st, I doubt it. But I thought that this needed to get done before the Olympic break. Time has
Yeah.
gone by. There's nothing you can do about it now. He's
Sure.
not going to sign an extension. You have to get it done, especially before the Olympic break. He's going to go play for Sweden. You inherit, any sort of risk to the injury that could happen. And ultimately you just want to try to get something out of this.
Yeah.
To be able to get Zach Whitecloud, first we'll talk about, is very significant because it was talked about late last night all over Flames Twitter and from great analysts like Wes Gilbertson and such. They were talking about possibly flipping Zach Whitecloud at the deadline. Whether that happens or not, I'm not sure. I don't think you have to. I think the more that I look at this, the more that I'm kind of going, yeah, I actually don't hate it. I think he would fit well there in that third pairing. I think he would sit well behind Kevin Ball there on the right side. And, Zach Whitecloud can essentially play with a very good left defenseman there and a young kid, whether it be Kuznetsov, who's had a great year, Brushewitz, who's had a good year so far. And eventually what you're going to start seeing is Zane Parek's going to get clearly more ice time here. Now, the problem is going to be that you want him to get more ice time, but you've got Weegar, who's a right shot defenseman. You've got Ball, that's a right shot defenseman. You've got Zach Whitecloud now, who's a right shot defenseman. So something's got to give. It wouldn't shock me if they try to put Whitecloud on the left. But the issue going forward is that there's a lot of defensemen now in the line, right? And we're not even talking like Braden Pahal is still kicking around. Like there's still stuff need to be done. I think ideally, as much as it would be nice to keep Zach Whitecloud, now that I'm mulling over this, I think you have to move him at some point, whether it's this year or next year. He's going to be a good asset on any team. And I think you can get a nice return from it, whether it's a second round pick, etc., in this year's, next year's draft, whatever it may be. So what they decide to do with him is, I think, good on both ends. Yes, you're kind of creating a little bit of a logjam here defensively, but it gives you options, and they are still going to be able to be pretty active here going into the trade deadline and probably into the offseason as well, too. They'll need to be significantly active. So that's on the one side of it with Whitecloud. The other part of it, I mean, to know that Andersson's not going to extend with a team, and whether he does with Vegas or not is going to be their business at the end of the day. It's out of our control. To get a first round pick along with a second round pick that could turn into a first, I think is good work from Craig. I mean, I don't think there was other teams really fetching that up. The other best offer from what we heard of was the first round pick along with Poitras and Lori there in Boston. So yeah, like I think Poitras has kind of fell off a little bit here, and that first round pick is just kind of like, all right, like it's going to be, who knows where that's a 20s pick ideally, because considering where Boston is, who knows, maybe they fall off. I doubt it after the move. And Mason Lori, you can kind of complement that here with Zach Whitecloud. So to get two high picks, first round and second round, that could turn into a first, I think that was the best you were going to do in what was not a bad case scenario, but just you would have liked to done this last year had this been the direction you were going to go down. So yeah, it's Vegas. It sucks. There's nothing you can really do about it. It is the best offer on the table, I think, from what we heard around. I heard Detroit had a first in Nate Danielson, but to get two high draft picks, I think has been great work there for Conroy. And I thought he needed to, I think it's an appropriate grade here when they display it a little bit further here at a solid B. I think it's just bad timing to get this done. And then really quickly on Weeb, and then I'll hand it over to you, Neil. He's a 6'3" defenseman playing on the University of North Dakota. Not very highly touted. He's a nice pickup there in the 7th round. Who knows if he plays NHL regular minutes. Again, the assets are the picks are the primary assets for this team with this trade. And hopefully you can kind of use that going forward. And you can either use those picks to your advantage in further deals down the road, or you can strengthen your pool just a little bit further.
Yeah, no, I mean, at the end of the day, I think that Craig Conroy did about as good of a job as he could have in the position that he's in. Like you said, would have been nice to find a deal for Andersson prior to training camp this year. This is something you and I had talked about in the offseason about, is it going to be awkward if you don't get a deal done? It was very obvious that both sides wanted to, end their relationship. I think what I'm more happy about than anything, Kyle, is just the fact that like this didn't get ugly. It was a very clear communication from both the front office and the player that there's no, hatred between the two. There's no, animosity. It's just,
business.
Both sides, you're right. It's just business. Right. And yeah, I think for Conroy, unless I think it's possible, this is just a thought I was thinking about today. I think it's possible that that Craig Conroy went back to other teams, maybe to see if he could get a similar kind of, second round pick that becomes a first, kind of contingency. And maybe a lot of the other teams just wouldn't bite on that. And I think Conroy really wanted that second first round pick. But even if it's still just the second round pick, I'm still very okay with it. I'm still very content with it because, again, still at the end of the day, you have to hit on whoever you draft. If you end up using those picks, for all we know, they use that pick to trade for somebody significant that helps this team, now and in the future. Who knows who that might be? But yeah, I mean, overall, they needed to get this done. I'm curious to see what Zach Whitecloud, how he fits into this team. He's playing on that second pairing with Kevin Ball tonight against the Devils.
Yep.
Making his Flames debut. Be really interesting.
So he is playing. So sorry, he's playing the left side.
No, he is playing the right side.
Oh,
He's
so
playing the
Kevin
right
Ball.
side.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. So I think Kevin Ball is a left shot. My bad.
Kevin
Okay.
Ball is Kevin Ball is a left shot that has played on the right before, but he is
Oh, okay.
mainly a left shot defenseman.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
But now Zach Whitecloud kind of goes into there, so that kind of maybe addresses a little. He basically just replaces where Anderson was. I mean, essentially, um, yeah. And overall, I think it's just kind of like the first domino for Calgary. Now it's about, we talked about it with Kadri, Blake Coleman as well. Now we're hearing Ryan Longberg's name be coming up, with him being an expiring contract as well.
I hate that.
You know,
I hate that.
I think at the end of the day, Conroy's going to field offers. And he knows right now that this is a big time. But I think for any of those other names, don't be surprised if those names get moved at the regular trade deadline as
Yeah,
opposed to now, because it's a little bit different.
I hate that Lomberg's name's being thrown out there. I hate it. I think
Go back to Florida.
Well, the stupid thing is that he chose to come back here.
He did,
because he feels so deeply about this team. And
Yeah.
I think as a fourth line guy, okay, he's not the best guy on the ice, but he's such a good locker room. He's probably one of the best locker room guys in
Yeah.
the NHL.
Sure.
Who will go and fight anybody too. Like,
Right.
I want that in my locker room. And I want to keep Ryan Lomberg as much as soon as we start seeing his game really, really diminish, then we can have that conversation. He's fine for a fourth liner. I don't have a problem with it. I think if he goes by the deadline, I think you're sending the wrong message. Because, like,
Or
what are
maybe
you going to
not.
get? Well, what are you
Or
going to
maybe
get out
not,
of him?
because the other thing I just want to, push back on it is that he could be like what Patrick Marleau was down the road, at the end of his career with San Jose, where it was like every year he would re-sign with the Sharks, deadline, get traded, and then just come back again. I'm not saying that could very well happen, but I'm saying that's also a possibility, because I think Lomberg could also understand that he could get some value, maybe go back to Florida, maybe go to a cup contender, and this year give himself a chance to maybe go get his second cup, and then ultimately come back to Calgary anyway. I'm just saying.
Maybe.
Because again, remember, he's a free agent at the end of the year anyway. So, if you could get something for him, and then by some chance he comes back,
sure.
Are you really that upset about it? Like, that's the way I look at it.
You're taking the gamble on if he comes back.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Because we could offer him again, like another $1.5 million deal for a year. What if somebody comes up and goes, we'll pay you $3 million? Does it make a difference? Maybe.
Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't.
Right? What if the Devils go and say, maybe we need a guy like Lomberg, we'll pay you $3 million for the year? Not saying, but I'm just you get what I'm putting down here.
I understand.
Yeah. So I think that would be I agree. I think the likelihood of that happening though is pretty low. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't technically see it that way. But I get it. I get where you're coming from. And thank you for bringing that up, actually, because Eric Francis mentioned about with Zach Whitecloud. He is flying into Calgary this afternoon and is expected to play tonight. Again, he will be alongside Kevin Ball. So thank you for bringing that up. So he'll be along the left side. Ball will be on the left side. So actually, that's good.
He's gonna score tonight. I'm telling you right now. He's gonna find the back of the net tonight.
That'd be crazy if he does. So you got Weegar now manning the top right defensive slot there. I believe he's still going to play with Joel Hanley, is my guess. Now you're going to get Ball alongside Zach Whitecloud on the right, and then maybe Braden Pahal comes in there with Kuznetsov as something that I could kind of envision there. But as soon as Parek's done his conditioning stint, I could see Parek probably coming back into the fold very soon. Once deadline's done, you're going to see a lot more of Parek and a lot of these younger guys going to get some more chances here. Last thing I wanted to bring up here, Eric Francis actually made a very long statement, and it came from Sportsnet. Ironically, from an article that just headlined from Sportsnet. With every painful shot block absorbed by this trade chip, Conroy felt increasingly compelled to pull the trigger on a Rasmus Andersson trade. So this was an article, that was written by Eric Francis, but he went on a long tangent here, and I wanted to quickly mention it here. So from that article, Francis goes and says this: those who take umbrage with Rasmus Andersson's refusing to commit anywhere long-term are way off base. It's hypocritical and wrong to suggest any athlete owes his former club by signing somewhere they don't want especially if the offer isn't considered optimal. He's earned the right to choose when and where he commits, and is one of the Flames' most successful draft and development stories in decades. He's already done plenty for the organization. The four-man package he earned the club Sunday is a generous parting gift, a haul the Flames wouldn't have received had he not turned his game around this season. I can hear the criticism already when if he signs with Vegas this summer, but by then the offer might be bigger and the decision would be more informed. I think that's very important, and I think that is something that we are missing here because it was a really good relationship. Andersson, who doesn't owe anything to the club, still wanted to go out and perform, right? And and like he said from day one, he's a Calgary Flame. So the day he is, right? And it was, and he did help Calgary get a really good package back. And he said, all right, let's do it. And so he was very much involved with this process. The agent held him back a little bit, though, telling him not to extend. But ultimately, Craig Conroy and Andersson,
a little bit.
In what sense?
In the sense of like, there was a lot of talk in the offseason about like if Andersson got dealt to Vegas, that he would resign, he would extend. I wonder if that changed. I wonder what changed that. Maybe it's just like I was telling you last night. It's very likely that he'll be one of the top guys on the free agent market this offseason. Now it's so many guys coming off the books and, not being available, and that maybe he'll look to just try to get a really nice payday from somebody.
Sure.
So, I don't know.
I thought that was very well put by Eric Francis.
He's so good.
I think
so good.
Ultimately it should have been done last year, I think, from a
fan's
perspective. But they did work well together in order to get this done. And I think both sides can kind of walk away from this fairly well off. Time will tell.
And that to me just shows that like Craig Conroy is making the Flames slowly into an organization that people want to be a part of because of the relationships that he's creating. You saw how this goes. Here's a great example. Look at what's happened with the Devils and Dougie Hamilton, right? It's come out like crazy. All of that news and all of this discontent and all of this mess. Craig Conroy has done the exact opposite. We've known for months, if not for over a year now, about Andersson's probably going to get dealt, and Conroy has to be cutthroat about it. He wasn't cutthroat about it. He handled it as well as he could have, and he handled Andersson's situation with nothing short of class and respect, and they went through it. It wasn't like Andersson became an issue this year in the locker room before he got traded. I think overall it's just like really, really important and sends a message to everyone else. I'm sure there are people that might ask Andersson down the road, like, hey, what are your thoughts on like Conroy and like Calgary's organization? He will probably say a lot of positive things about it. And that's important to getting people to want to come to this organization.
It's a good lingering effect to have, right?
100%.
Especially in a time where a new building's coming too. You want to continue to build those good relationships. So I agree. It was and we wish him nothing but the best, right? I hope he does go on a good cup run, and he served nothing but faithfully for the last 10 years, only but good memories. And he was one of our better draft picks, right?
Miss the stare downs. I will miss the
stare downs. And again, he was a second round pick. He was 42nd. I think it was 10 or 11 years ago that he was drafted.
Right.
And
who's
so
to say we don't use that second round pick from Vegas to draft another Rasmus Andersson kind of player?
Who knows? I think that I really believe that, with the way that they were able to get him and develop him, it was sensational to see, and we wish him nothing but the best. So I'll play a minute here of Craig here, just talking to Flames media real quick, just about the trade that happened last night.
We're joined by Flames general manager Craig Conroy after the Flames and the Vegas Golden Knights pull off a Sunday blockbuster. Craig, just to start, just take you through the last hours, days. What's it been like getting this one over the line?
Yeah, obviously been talking to lots of teams and, working through and trying to come up with the best deal that made the most sense for us and for the other teams also. So, I think as we were going along, at times different things changed, whether what they were looking for, what we were looking for, but in the end to kind of be able to get it done with Vegas, they were willing to do it and do it without a contract, because that was one thing that it was made clear to us just in the last maybe 12 hours was there wasn't going to be an extension signed with any of the teams. So that definitely changed the way we had to negotiate and what we got back in return.
Let's talk about the return. Zach Whitecloud, an NHL defenseman that you can plug and play into your lineup. Let's start with him. Just what are you excited most about bringing him into the fold?
Another Stanley Cup champion too. So you bring in Zach, really good on the penalty kill, plays big minutes with a very good Vegas team. I watched him last night, just kind of watching the game. Him and Hannafin were together. So, he's going to bring the ability to come in here and help, especially on the penalty kill. And he's going to be able to eat lots of minutes for us. So we're excited to have Zach, and he's a, competitive guy. Saw him fight Nyes the other night. So, he's willing to do whatever it takes to win, which was what we want to, what we're looking for in this team.
So there you go. I know there's more of the video, but they just kind of get into the draft picks
Right.
and then weave a little bit, but that was kind of the bulk of the, of the interview there. So yeah, it was clearly made to them that, extensions were not going to happen here with the deal. And the one notable thing was that bringing in Whitecloud, he's going to help out here with the penalty kill. And it's something that they kind of desperately needed in a year in which, it's all kind of been downhill, wishy-washy. And I think personally, I think Whitecloud's pretty excited from what we looked at. I think that, maybe it's something that he kind of wants to be a part of too. And, you hear about the relationship that Andersson talked about with the team. And, you want that to kind of relish here with this.
Sure.
So, he's going to get a chance to play along with Kevin Ball tonight. Should be fascinating just to see how he goes. He's going to be 29 years old. And the biggest thing too is he's a Stanley Cup champion, believe it or not. So he's going to bring a little bit more of that veteran presence in. And he's going to score a goal tonight as well.
I'm 100% certain of that. No, I think for someone like Whitecloud, who's obviously, like you said, he's won a Stanley Cup. He's been part of that Vegas machine for years. And he understands obviously that, that it doesn't matter like how good or not you are in Vegas. You could easily be replaced. And that's essentially how I think Whitecloud could he could use it.
Hey, at least he won a cup though. I mean,
no, sure. But also it's oh, he's no longer that valuable. Like he could turn it around as oh, I'm going to show Vegas that they made a mistake and blossom in Calgary. And he gets to be a part of a young up and coming team. And he gets to maybe be a part of, the new arena being built and everything. And, he's going to play 30 some odd games for the Flames, which I think is a good chunk considering that a lot of times we don't get to see a whole lot of guys in how they can, get acclimated to a team when they get traded at a normal trade deadline. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Whitecloud can do moving forward with this Flames team. And like you said, it's all signs point to he seems to be pretty excited.
And it sounds like from the way that Conroy is talking about it doesn't sound like he's going to be flipped. He wants to be involved. Like he wants him to be involved.
And it's possible maybe he even spoke to Whitecloud about it. Maybe they had a conversation or was just like, listen, if you don't.
I doubt. I don't think they probably had
a conversation
until he flies in this afternoon. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Maybe.
And look, he doesn't need morning skate. He played last night.
It's true.
He can.
He's ready to go. Get him out there. And we're ready.
I wonder what that conversation is going to be like with him and Huska about all right, what's my role tonight? It'll be like
a lot of talks about Huska too. I think that might need to be addressed maybe in the short term here in the next 2 or 3 months because you got to get the young guys going here, and it's going to be interesting to see because
bring in Pete DeBoer.
Yeah, no kidding, right? All right, let's get to a break here, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about we'll preview tonight's game. Every yard, every sack, every interception, every touchdown with Pick 6. DraftKings' newest game. Every snap can turn into a big-time payout. This isn't just watching the game. This is playing to win. Here's how it works. Pick more or less on 2 or more player stats. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. It's that simple, and here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers can get $50 in Pick 6 credits with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. You know the game. Now make it pay. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN to play just $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. You make the call, ride the upsides in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. All right, Neil. We get to do this about once or twice a year. And
it's only the first time this year. We still haven't. Yeah, this is only first time.
Yeah, because we haven't been to New Jersey yet, have we?
Nope.
So I think that's in March.
That is once again in March, just like it was last year.
That's right. So just before Neil heads out west to Vancouver, he will fly right over Calgary, where the Devils would have played tonight. Let's preview it. So Yeah, we got Devin Cooley going in tonight for the Flames here, just on the site here, and we're just going to note real quick here from the Flames perspective. I'll kind of quickly talk about 5 things that you're looking for tonight from Calgary's perspective, and then we'll flip it to Neil here, and he'll give New Jersey's standpoint going into tonight. So obviously the first thing, with the trade that happened last night, you're going to bring Whitecloud in. He's going to be playing alongside Kevin Ball here. Just going along here, different times, different things have changed, and in the end, I think you just want to see how Whitecloud's going to adjust being on a new team here with Kevin Ball playing a lot of penalty kill minutes as well too going in, which will be very interesting. Devils are now beginning a 4-game road trip, so obviously they need to have some things kind of cleaned up here. I'll let Neil kind of speak on that a little bit more. Really too, it's you're going to get Cooley back in. I think the attention will now turn here to Blake Coleman and Nazem Kadri here to see how well they're going to produce here going into these next few games, and especially starting tonight. You mentioned Igor Sharangovich as well too. He's playing against his former club, I believe, for the 2nd or 3rd time now since being traded from New Jersey with that Markstrom trade all the way back. Still, new guys coming in. You're talking about Whitecloud here. Again, you're still going to continue to see the development here with Kuznetsov, who I think has had a good year so far. Devin Cooley, who, again, as a backup has been very consistent. We'll see how well he goes into tonight. And again, the player to watch tonight for the Calgary's perspective is going to be Kevin Ball, obviously now being paired alongside
I thought it would have been Whitecloud. I thought it would have been Whitecloud tonight just because, he's...
Well, I think they want to see, again, it's also a matchup in which he's playing his former team again. And he's a plus 12, too, mentioned as well in the ratings. He's plus 12. So maybe that'll help here. Hopefully that meshes well with
don't you find that just shocking considering the lack of scoring we have that he's a plus 12?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's odd. Yeah, it's odd. Maybe he's been playing on the line a lot, and you see Blake Coleman, all of a sudden playing the way that he is.
Yeah.
And I do want to ask a question actually, but after we're done this about Blake Coleman. But those are a couple things to watch tonight. Mainly a lot of the news around Zach Whitecloud. Want to see now how Blake Coleman does here with Nazem Kadri. Those conversations will start ramping up here, and Devin Cooley again in net tonight for the Flames. Neil, you're the Devils fanatic with the show. Tough stretch here so far for the Devils. What are you looking for tonight?
I wouldn't say it's a tough stretch. It's been a tough 2 months. I'll just be very honest with you. Look, Devils are coming off a pretty lackluster loss to Carolina 2 nights ago. Kind of doesn't surprise me, considering that's the Devils' kryptonite. Whenever they play Carolina, it's just they forget how to play hockey.
Kryptonite. Yeah,
they just forget how to play hockey. And it was disappointing because they had won back-to-back games. They had shockingly beat Quinn Hughes and the Wild 5-2 in Minnesota, which was kind of a craziness. Bless you. Sorry, I have my dad to the left of me.
Upset.
He says Happy New Year to Kyle.
Happy New Year.
Anyway, and then they win. They beat Seattle in overtime. And, everybody was like, oh, maybe we're turning around. And I'm like, look, the measuring stick is still Carolina. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. And they got destroyed. And if Svechnikov scored a hat trick, it is what it is. I just bless you today. It is what it is. The Devils I'll tell Flames fans this. The Devils are just what they are. What you see on the ice is pretty much what you get. They're just a very inconsistent team. Tonight, though, one big change is that the Devils will have an NHL debut tonight. Lenny Jimenez, who the Devils drafted in the mid-rounds of 2 years ago, he will be making his NHL debut coming up from the Utica Comets. He'll be on the 4th line with Cody Glass and Arseny Griciuk. Timo Meier, Jack Hughes, Jesper Bratt, the 1st line, Palat, Heischer, and Dawson Mercer, 2nd line, Evgeny Dodonov, Paul Cotter, and Connor Brown will be the 3rd line. Big news, though, is that Jacob Markstrom will go up against his former team and take on the Calgary Flames in his 4th straight start, which is kind of surprising that he's played this much. He had a pretty rough game against Carolina. Really, where we're at now with the New Jersey Devils, Kyle, is a simple thing of it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when Dougie Hamilton ultimately gets traded. Because I think at this point, it's pretty much been like bridges.
It's written on the wall. It's written on the wall.
And he's been playing well. He's actually got 5 points in his last 4 games. He's actually played well of late. But I don't see a world where the Devils keep him. I think they should and just try to trade Andre Palat's contract because, Palat just gets no points whatsoever. But, we'll see. And now with Andersson getting dealt, kind of wonder how much more attention goes on to Dougie Hamilton, if anything really changes on Dougie Hamilton's front because Anderson's now been dealt. We'll see. And yeah, the Devils begin a 4-game road trip. They play tonight, then they play tomorrow night against the Edmonton Oilers, and then I will be in attendance for the game on Thursday against Friday against Vancouver, and then I will travel with the team down to Seattle and Sunday afternoon, which got moved, by the way, to a noon Eastern game.
I wonder why.
I wonder why that might be. Who knows, right? But they will be in Seattle to wrap up the road trip on Sunday, and that's pretty much it. I mean, Shimon Nemec is back in the lineup. Jonathan Kovacevic, who just came back from injury, he's out tonight. So it's Luke Hughes, Pesce on the back end with Siegenthaler, Hamilton, and then Brendan Dillon and Shimon Nemec. And like I mentioned, Jacob Markstrom will make his 4th straight start. And we will see how much closer this team gets to ultimately deciding to fire their GM. Because I think at this point, Kyle, it's just what it is. This team has is tied for the most non-trade or no move clauses in the league with 15 guys on this team currently that have at least something like that. And, it's a far cry from where they were in 22-23. It's a far cry. So
quick question. Two questions for you.
Sure.
One is fact checking here. Have they extended Markstrom? I can't remember.
Oh, yes, they did. They extended
Okay.
Markstrom back on October 31st, Halloween of this year, to a 2-year deal, $6 million per year, starting next year with, once again, another modified no trade clause. So we got that going for us. And Markstrom is having the year that you had kind of mentioned to me, Kyle, where like 1 year he's great and the next year he's crap. And
sometimes
this year,
it's just
for the
who
most
you are,
part,
man. Sometimes it's just who you are. And I wanted to warn you at the beginning, like he can be one of the best goalies in the league, and then all of a sudden he could be just like one of the worst.
And I didn't discredit you for that because it's true.
So my other question here, you had the Rangers come out, and it was Chris Drury basically saying that we need to retool, rebuild, however you want to look at it.
Another letter? We talk about a second letter in like 3 years?
Letter, right?
God.
So that's the Rangers coming out and saying that here.
Sure.
Devils are
keep going.
Right beside
there it is.
New York there.
I know. I know where they are.
You're 7 points back of Buffalo.
Can you go a little further down for me, please?
Oh, that's it. Like that's.
Oh, is that just Eastern Conference? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
do you want me to do overall?
Yeah, do that. I'd rather you do that. I want Flames fans to understand where we're coming from.
So in the conference, you're sitting 15.
Yep.
Yeah. So in a Eastern Conference in which, I mean, to look on the bright side, a bright side here, you're only 5 points back in Pittsburgh.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And I guess for you, like, this is definitely a really important road trip.
Yep.
So maybe a two-parter here. When does the panic start setting in, if it hasn't already? You got an important road trip here coming up. You're only within 5 points here to Pittsburgh here to get that third spot.
Yep.
When does it start setting in? And then if it does, what happens? What do you want to happen?
What do I want to happen, or what do I think happens?
Think.
Okay. To answer the first part, no, the panic set in like 2 months ago.
Okay.
This is not a like brand new, like we are, because and I get it, like the Devils to a lot of teams in the league are like irrelevant, and I get it. Like I totally get it, and I'm not offended by it. The reality is that this team is not very close to being a contender, and they're proving that. They don't have enough depth. Their top guys seemingly at the same time go away and just struggle. Jack Hughes has 1 goal in about 11 games since he came back. So that's not a
lot of assists, though, I think, in his last couple.
A lot of assists, but obviously they don't pay him $8+ million to just make a billion assists. They want him to put the puck in the back of the net.
Right.
like they want everybody else to. The fact of the matter is that Devils fans have seen this season before. This is not anything new. If you looked on Twitter enough, I would say the consensus is that the season is already over with still 30-ish games to go. Because while, yes, 5 points is very doable, there are several teams ahead of the Devils that have a game in hand. They have won just 2 games in the Metro Division since the beginning of the season. And, oh, by the way, Kyle, as you can see right there, they have the worst goal differential in the Eastern Conference at minus 22.
Yeah, that's not great.
They've won 4 of their last 10 games.
To be fair, one game kind of did you over on that.
Sure, but at the same time, the
9
defense
goals.
was about as porous as it could be.
9 goals.
The biggest issue, though, Kyle, is this. From your outsider's perspective, let me ask you this question.
Shoot.
Have the Devils made any change in the last 2 months?
Well, no, because I think
No.
of Hughes' injury.
No, the answer is
Right.
no.
They needed to keep. Well, I mean, like you said, they can't trade anybody.
They
so
can't,
they can't make a move.
But I want to make a point.
Okay.
Look at where the Toronto Maple Leafs are right now.
They're 2 points out of 1 point
Look
out
at
of
where
playoff
they
spot.
were a month ago. A month ago, they were towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference. Why? Because they couldn't score. So they made one subtle change. They fired Savard, and they brought in Sullivan.
Sure.
And that has made the complete difference. Look at the Buffalo Sabres. They fired Kevin Adams. And yeah, they did have Kekalainen already waiting in the wing. But look at where the Sabres are right now, Kyle. My
For
point
those of you
is
who
that the
can't
Devils
see.
haven't done anything. They've just allowed all of this to happen without any sort of change. Not firing an assistant, not firing the GM, not firing the coach, although I'm against firing Sheldon Keefe because I don't put this on him. And the other thing that is an issue is that so much information is being let out into the media about this team, about what they've done in the past, about Tom Fitzgerald's mistakes that have brought him to this point. The whole analytics team told Tom Fitzgerald, don't sign Andre Palat. He goes and signs Andre Palat. Ownership wanted to sign Dougie Hamilton, not Tom Fitzgerald. Ownership wanted it. And granted, it worked for the first couple of years, but ever since he tore his pec and had surgery, he just isn't the same player. And that's just unfortunate for him. But Sheldon Keefe said a very damning thing is, I know what this team needs. We have a lot of work to do to become a real hockey team. You're talking about a core that has, on paper, Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Jesper Bratt, Timo Meier, Dawson Mercer,
Luke Hughes.
And this team is 15th in the Eastern Conference. Like, it's clearly obvious that this whole organization right now is in a rotten state. There is no culture. There is no accountability. And that's where this team is. And yes, the GM has tried to do something, but he actually can't because of the horrific contracts that he's given out. And on top of that, the awful no trade and no move clauses that he's thrown out. If these things weren't an issue, Dougie Hamilton, Andre Palat, these guys would have been gone a month ago. But they're still here, and they can deny any trade that they want, and they have every right to because it's part of their contractual agreement. And the Devils are stuck. And the problem more than anything is, Kyle, is this. Tom Fitzgerald finally spoke to the media prior to the game against Seattle. And while he said that this is on him, oh, by the way, 25th in the NHL, by the way. Thank you, Kyle, for that. Tom Fitzgerald admitted that this is on him, he didn't apologize for anything. He never said he made a mistake. He never said he regret. And that is the most F you kind of attitude out of a GM that looks lost. And the problem is that the Devils ownership won't fire Tom Fitzgerald now. They're going to allow him to try to get them out of this and get back into a running for the playoffs. I'm here to tell you right now, it isn't worth it. It isn't worth it to sell off future assets, especially this first round pick that you have this year, considering where you are in the standings, to get someone like a Steven Stamkos, who, quite frankly, the Devils, he's the last person the Devils should be looking to try to get. This team needs to get younger. They're the fourth oldest team in the league now, if you can believe that.
Oh,
And they
Jesus.
are
on a team with Hughes, Keisher, and the other Hughes.
And listen, don't think for a second that if Quinn Hughes signs long-term in Minnesota, don't think for a second the clock doesn't start ticking. Genuinely, I mean, honestly, that's another thing. So the bottom line is that the Devils unfortunately just have to ride this out. And however they finish the season is however they finish the season. And regardless, there needs to be a new voice. There needs to be a new general manager. There needs to be somebody outside of this organization who is not going to use analytics to completely drive down what this team is and get back to where they were, an aggressive 5-on-5, forechecking team off the rush. They're not even close to that anymore. They tried to become the Carolina Hurricanes, and they're that much further away from being the Carolina Hurricanes. So that in a nutshell is the answer to your question. And what do I want happen? Let me answer the second part. I never answered the second part.
Okay, all right.
What do I think happens between now and the end of the season? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that's it. Oh, great. Now we're going to show. Thanks for this.
Well, I just thought I'd bring it up.
I'm going to clip
now that we're
all of
talking
this.
about
I'm
it.
going to take this whole thing and I'm going to post it on my own channel today.
Do it. So you talk about the no move clause because I'm unfamiliar with how much it is. Meyer locked in with a no movement clause.
Whatever.
Jack, who isn't locked in until a 10-team no trade list that starts next year.
Wonderful.
Jesper Fast, he's got a no movement clause.
Jesper Fast? Excuse me?
Jesus
Jesper
Christ.
Fast retired.
Yeah, thanks. Jesper
Good God. Good Lord.
He's got no trade clause. Heischer's got a 10-team no trade list for 2 years.
By the way, he's a free agent after next year. Just keep that in mind, too.
Yeah. Andre Palat's got a 10-team no trade list. Dawson Mercer's good. Can't be traded as Connor Brown.
But it's fine. He's making only $3 million. That deal, honestly,
Okay.
is fine. That doesn't
until 2 years down the line where it's a 10-team.
Sure, but at this point, what does it matter? You know what I mean?
You got performance-based Evgeny Dananov, who he's got a no trade clause.
Which is wild to me on a 1-year deal, by the way, right? It's a 1-year deal and he has a no trade clause. So my question is what do you think? You don't think Dallas will call the Devils again and be like, can we have the Donov back?
I don't get it. I don't get that.
What the hell is going on?
He's got a no trade clause through March 1st. Then it becomes a 10-team no trade list. That's so weird. That's weird. That's strange. That's very strange. And then a lot of youngsters there.
Yeah, Connor's young, sure.
Dougie, no trade movement. You got no trade clause for Brett Pesce for the next 2 years.
If he's making only $5.5 million, I can live with it. That's the problem.
This is egregious.
It's getting worse. It's not going to keep going.
So this year's no trade
Brendan
clause
Dillon
for Brendan Dillon, no trade clause for Jonathan Kovacevic.
Yep.
You got a 10-team no trade list with Jonas Siegenthaler, and then Simone Nemec has his last year of this deal.
Whoopee. Keep going. You're not done.
Markstrom's got a no movement
there
clause.
It is. Wait, keep going.
His new deal kicks in where he's a 20-team no trade list. And then Jake Allen has a no trade clause for the next 2 years, and then it becomes 10-team no trade for 2027-28. Neil, that's actually so bizarre.
What did you think I was
God.
lying to you?
No, of course not.
So, Kyle, let me ask you this. Out of all the names you just saw that have a modified no trade clause, no trade, how many of them do you think legitimately have earned the right to have that?
Not much.
What, 2?
This year alone. So here, actually, let's make it more simpler. Next year, okay, for the guys who are on contract next year, I count 1, 2, 3 guys. Next year, there's 3 guys who don't have any clauses.
Whoopee-doo.
That's banana lands.
And that is, I mean,
Wow.
I'll be honest with you. If Tom Fitzgerald was a GM of any of these of a team in Canada, he would have been fired by now for this. Straight up. Like this is a guy that has implemented a system that does not work for this team. Then he hires a head coach in Sheldon Keefe to coach a system that Sheldon Keefe doesn't want to coach, but has no choice but to coach it. And this is the result that we're getting. So, like, I will say this. Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you brought this up. Okay. So, yeah.
Well, okay. This is still sucks.
Right.
Jonathan Huberdeau
but it's
still
one.
sucks. He's got to know.
But how many is that, Kyle? That's one. One singular one.
Padres got a 13 no trade list. He can go. Yep. Sharon Govas is a 10-team no trade, so there's still a chance for him to go. Coleman's name's Murad to go. Backlund can't be moved for the next 2 years. So if we're talking full no move, we're talking 2 full no move clause. Uyghur can't be traded for the next 2 years anyway. So 2 guys, essentially. 2 guys can't get traded.
2 comparatively to how many? 15? Yeah.
50.
There you go.
For at least the next 2 for the next 2 years, Calgary has 2 guys they can't trade.
2.
And Devils have close to I think 15 was egregious because that included guys with a no trade clause. So let me revitalize that a little bit actually. It's still a pretty high number.
Well, I said 15 when it's a combination of no trade or no move clauses.
Okay. So
That's
if we include that
15.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's still lots of other guys who have modified.
Yep.
6 guys.
Yep. Pretty much.
Wow. That's a lot. That's tough. That's pretty tough. Not gonna lie.
So I'll be very simple with you.
And I didn't even look at their cap space actually.
Oh, don't start with me on this. Like their cap space, they're under. They don't have enough cap space to look at that. Come on.
$95,000 on the current cap.
$95,000.
Where
$95,000.
Where
and this is the 15th team in the Eastern Conference. Oh, and by the way, Kyle, let's add another part to it. You want to see how bad the Utica Comets are this year? Because if you were like in this situation, you would think, okay, so like a lot of our young players have come up from the AHL and started playing, and now we're contending. So it makes sense, right? That your AHL team wouldn't be as good. Nope. The Comets are near the bottom of the entire AHL. There is nothing good, top to bottom, for the New Jersey Devils at this point. You need to come very close to starting over and restart the culture of this team because it is rotten to the core from top only until the end of AHL. Because at least the Adirondack Thunder are somewhat watchable. And that's the ECHL team.
Yeah. That's tough. That's pretty tough.
So there you go.
Well,
any more questions you'd like to ask me about this team?
No. I like Kevin Ball.
Flames win 4-1 tonight. I'm calling it right now. Flames win 4-1 tonight.
So let's look back a little bit on that trade, shall we?
Which one?
Well, let's look at both. I mean,
look at the Sharangovich one too. Why not? Let's keep it going.
Foley's gone, and Sharangovich. I mean, you can say I guess
nobody won that trade, Kyle. Nobody won that trade.
To be fair, Sharangovich had one good year.
One
good year. That's about it.
One.
And he's been okay this year, just okay. Markstrom trade.
Legos. Is he still doing that though?
Oh yeah, he's still doing that.
Okay, so there's the asset you have.
So the other trade, because I think it's updated, right?
Which the Markstrom one?
It was a first round pick in 2025. So
Yep.
I want to see real quick who they drafted.
Yep. Toffoli was great for the
Devil's
3/4 of the season he was in New Jersey, and then Fitzgerald was like, "No, I don't want to give him 4 years. I only want
Oh
to
my
give him
God.
3."
So that pick that you guys gave us turned into Paul Reshny.
Yeah, of course it did.
That's tough.
Of course it did.
So
you know what, Kyle? Wouldn't have mattered because Tom Fitzgerald can't develop anything anyway. So
It's
we would have
funny
ruined his career too.
it's funny at the time how we both really thought that both sides won that deal. I think it's swayed a little bit.
A little
here.
bit.
I think
Look,
Calgary.
Calgary's
I think
winning
Calgary might
that
have won
trade
that one.
without question, Kyle.
Yeah.
This is not a oh maybe like, I know you're trying to be nice about it,
Yeah,
but
they
I'm
won
not
that
going
one.
to do it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I'm really gonna just like you have to understand that you can't name one thing that Tom Fitzgerald has done in his tenure with this Devils team that you could really say, oh, you know what? That was a good move. Even the Timo Meier trade hasn't worked out completely the way that they wanted it to. Because while the Sharks haven't really taken advantage of most of what they got in that deal, because, Zetterlund's not even on the team anymore. I don't know what the first round picks became. I'd have to go back and look.
Sure.
The Sharks, in my opinion, still kind of won that trade because it allowed them to rebuild. And now look at the Sharks. I mean, it's how does a team with a guy like Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier and Bratt and all them having unbelievable contracts have some of the fewest cap space in the league with no future, no prospects coming up? I mean, they are in the level of purgatory.
Welcome to our world, for the most part,
And
where we were kind of in the mushy middle. But I think
not anymore.
At least we're trying to be crap.
Well, at least there's an idea as to where the Flames are going. Like you could be like, "Yep, that's where they're going." I don't know where the Devils are going. I don't know where they're going to be at the start of next year. I don't know.
Sure.
There is no I don't want to sit here and say there is no hope. It's more of just like there is no path right now. And the best thing that the Devils organization can do is fire Tom Fitzgerald before he makes yet another stupid move. Because I swear to God he's going to, because he already said, "Oh, I'm not selling at the deadline." Oh my God, dude, they're gonna get Braden Shannon. I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna hate every single second of it. And it's like, oh my God. And he needs to go. You need to hire someone outside of this organization who could come in with a fresh perspective, have a plan in place for how to get rid of people who shouldn't be on this team. And you need to actually help this team. And not through free agency. Because if I hear one more jerk off that said, "Oh, we should spend a crap load of money on Artemi Panarin in the offseason," I might put my head through the wall.
So predictions for tonight.
4-1 Calgary. Next question.
Okay.
It's going to be 4-0, and then Luke Hughes or somebody will score a meaningless power play goal to ruin Cooley's shutout, but it won't matter.
See, I don't want to win, though, tonight. I don't want to win.
Well, too bad. You're going to get it. Too bad.
I don't want to win.
Too bad. I'm sorry. We can't score. Too bad. What do you want from me?
Well, I kind of agree that I think Devin Cooley, for some reason, is going to stand on his head tonight. I think it'll be a low-scoring game.
All season. What do you mean?
So he'll do it again, and I think it'll be
White Cloud goal. Book it.
I could see it being like a 2-1, 3-1 type game.
Oh, you don't watch the Devils enough to know that this is going to be a boring 4-1 win for Calgary.
Well, I'm saying Calgary's going to win 3-1, 2-1.
Good for you. I'm glad you think the same way.
I don't want that, but I think it's going to happen.
No, the real loss would be both teams get a point. This game goes to overtime.
You know what?
Nobody wins. We actually both suffer.
That's actually exactly what's going to happen. We're going to go to overtime, and then I think we're going to end up winning.
100%.
That's
100%.
All right. Well, should be a fascinating one tonight then. You're really going to make me want to watch the game now, so I think I might have to tune in.
Yeah, you should.
Have a safe flight this week
Thank
as
you.
well. Have a great time. Lovely time in Vancouver.
Bless
Good.
you.
Through American Airlines, United. What's the flight?
Air Canada.
Air Canada. Perfect.
Air Canada.
Wonderful.
And then Air Alaska on the way back from Seattle. It should be fun. So
even better. Nice. Well, safe trip, my friend.
thank you.
And hope everybody else has a good week. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll assume that we get more trades happening this week. The Dons will
Also,
start to roll.
enjoy the college football playoff national championship tonight, which I'm surprised was not mentioned once in this video today.
It might be a blowout.
I know, but Kyle has a million sweatshirts of random college teams like Minnesota.
Have I watched it much? Probably not.
Probably not, but you got to pick a team for next year. You got to go with.
I'll get on that. I'll
you
do my research. I'll do my research.
No, not
I'll
Bama.
get into it. I'll do my research.
you
And then I need your prediction NFC Championship next Sunday night.
Yes. I'm gonna go with 27-24 Seahawks. That'll be my prediction.
That's honestly how you're gonna go, or you're not just like feeding me on here?
No, that's honestly how I think it's gonna go. Yes.
Okay. 27-23. Well, I got to roll obviously with Seattle too. They're my boys. Sucks losing Charbonnet, but I think the run game will still be fine. I don't see Stafford throwing for 500 yards like he did last time. So it'll be a 20s game. I think I could see it being probably like a 27-24 Seattle.
We actually do have some breaking news from the AFC Championship. J.K. Dobbins might actually be returning this week for the Broncos.
That'll be nice, considering they lost Bo. Tough blow.
I think Drew Brees should. I think Sean Payton should call Drew Brees and be like, "You want to play?
Hey Tom, you want to come play a game?"
Oh no! Someone did mention Tom Brady.
He would do it.
Do the funniest thing, and I'm like, I don't think he legally can. I don't think they legally can, but it'll.
Well, they signed Ben DiNucci, I think.
They should start him.
Yeah,
I think they should start Ben
DiNucci. Yeah.
And look, Jared Stidham could be the next Nick Foles. He's only got to win 2 games. You win 2 games, you're a Super Bowl champion. You know what, man? If Seattle has to play Denver in the Super Bowl,
I'm not scared.
You're not scared of Jared Stidham?
Not scared of Denver. Not scared of Denver. Not scared of New England either.
All right.
Whoever wins the NFC title game.
So what's your prediction for the AFC Championship game then?
I think Patriots are fine. I think they'll find a way to win, even though they didn't look great, to be honest, on Sunday. I think they'll be fine. I think they win 23-10.
I was gonna say 2017 Patriots. 20-17. So
yeah, I think they'll be okay. Yeah. All right, good stuff. So best of luck in travels this week.
Thank you.
And hope everybody else has a fantastic rest of their week. So we'll talk to everybody later.
Later, guys.
See ya.